Hi, everybody. Welcome back to episode 62 of Talkoffamepod podcast with your host, Kyliemontigney. I'm so excited to have on singer, songwriter, musician, and producer, Jackie Therrien. Thanks so much for coming on, Jackie.
Thank you.
Of course. So you are a singer, songwriter. What made you want to start doing that and being in this industry?
So I started writing music when I was 12 years old, and it was originally just like composing piano pieces, instrumental, no lyrics at all. And I started writing like duet type things. So I was writing for like violin and clarinet and, kind of putting all those together. And then when I was 14, I decided like it would be fun if I added lyrics to my music. So I started doing that, and I didn't take it seriously really at all at first because I was 14 and it was just kind of like super simple stuff that I didn't think I was ever going to do anything with. I had no plans of ever sharing it with anyone. And then I got a YouTube channel and I started posting some things, mostly covers, but I started putting originals on there too. And I think that's when I kind of started to like get a little bit more serious about it. And I started performing my songs like at school talent shows, and I realized like this is something that like I like really love to do. So when I was 15, that's when I recorded my first album, and like from there that's what I've always loved to do.
Oh, absolutely. Like I kind of like as you grow up, you never kind of expected like to do what you're doing. It's always kind of like coming out of nowhere. That's kind of
Yeah.
how it happened for me. But did you always kind of know you would probably be like a singer songwriter where you are, or you just kind of thought, oh, it's probably just gonna be a little something I like doing?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like, as I was doing quarantine, I was like, I just remember this, like, since everyone was at home and doing nothing, I was like, I'm bored, I'm at 9, I just go ask my parents a couple of questions and see who knows me better. Like, I just ask them, he must mind busy, and I just remember ask them questions and see who knew me better. And like, now, like 2 years later, I'm like, how am I supposed to put that questions into these product? But and so you recently came out with an EP called Night Music. What inspired you to write that?
So I actually had no plans of writing an album or an EP anytime soon. Like when I was writing this, I was just kind of writing a ton of music. And like I knew that eventually I was going to try to put an album together, but I was like, I don't want to do that for a while because I wasn't like super happy with like the things that I was writing. And I like Dreaming, my second album, I feel like was very like pop music type stuff. And I had just started recording my own music. So it was a lot of like experimenting with that kind of stuff and like different DAWs. And I kind of felt like that wasn't my sound exactly. Like it was fun to experiment with it at the time. But then I was like, like this doesn't really feel like me. So I didn't know like what I should be writing and what I wanted to write.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote a ton of music, and I was like, I just want to do like a little EP because I don't know, like you release a ton of music and it's hard for people to like really focus on like, 13 or 15 different songs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'll just do a smaller group of these songs that I like think go together. And I don't know, I feel like I've kind of found my sound through doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So out of all songs you kind of wrote on an EP, what kind of song like meant the most to you about the songs on the EP?
That's so hard because I love all of them. They all mean a lot to me.
Yeah, it's always very difficult to figure out what song you like the most.
Yeah, I know. Everyone always asks me, which one is your favorite? Which one means the most to you? It's so hard to answer. Probably April, just because that was like, out of all the songs, that was the first one that I wrote that I feel like I like wrote it and I was like, okay, I think this is what I want to do. Like, I think this is the kind of music that I want to be writing. And it kind of spiraled into what the EP is, but they all mean so much to me. I don't know.
Yeah, everyone asks me the same question. They'd be like, who's the favorite person I interviewed? I'm like, well, I can't really answer that though. It's too much. It's too much for me to handle. I can't.
Yeah.
But then like when you're usually writing a song, do you usually focus on the lyrics first or the music?
That kind of depends. I go back and forth. Sometimes I come up with like a really cool chord progression that I like, but I have no lyrics. So I'll just like record it in my, little recording app on my phone and keep it in there and save it for when I have lyrics. Or sometimes I'll just get lyrics that have no tune or anything, and I'll just save them for later. Or sometimes I get it all at once, and it makes it easy.
Yeah, for sure. So do you have anyone that you look up to as a singer-songwriter, or just kind of in general?
Well, I mean, I love Taylor Swift.
Me too.
Always.
Always.
I love Maisie Peters. I love Harry Styles.
Oh, me too.
I feel like I listen to so many different people.
Mm-hmm.
I love Fleetwood Mac. I love Beach Boys, the Beatles, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the oldies, all the 90s babies people. Mm-hmm. So I love that. So I'm the same exact way. I'm like everyone. I'm just a person that likes any generated music. Like I'm like 2000s, 90s, 80s. I'm all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everyone asks me like, who's your favorite genre? I'm like, I don't have one. I listen to every single thing.
Yeah, so I listen to all of it.
Yeah, I listen to all of it. So it was so funny you even asked me the question. But like, if you could collab with any singer-songwriter, who would it be?
Probably either Taylor Swift or Maisie Peters, just because like, I mean, they're amazing, but then they also work with so many like incredible people just like behind the scenes, like recording and all the other co-writers. So it'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song, or a bunch?
Favorite song? Oof, that's hard.
I know it's too much.
I mean, All Too Well 10-minute version is so good.
Yeah, like every Taylor Swift song is a hit, so it's very difficult to choose one day.
Yeah. And they're all so different because she writes in so many different genres that it depends on my mood.
Yeah, right. Like that's how I am. Like she first started out as a country singer. Now she's basically a pop singer, and she basically makes songs about every single thing. I'm like, how can like she do this? How can she write about every single thing going on in her life? And she mostly makes like breakup songs and like all relationship songs, which I can totally relate to, depending.
Yep.
Basically, so since quarantine started back in 2020, how much do you think has changed in terms of songwriting since the pandemic started?
I mean, for me personally, I feel like I've had a lot more time because like before I was, constantly in school, busy all the time, which I know it's getting busier again. I feel like we're back to kind of how we were before the pandemic, but like once we got out of school and everything shut down, I was like, I have all this time to literally just sit around my house and make music. And that's time that like I never had before. Like I feel like I was always pushing it off and like, oh, I should do my homework first, or I have work tonight. But now like I've had all this free time to just write.
Yeah, like once like the quarantine hit, like everyone's like, yeah, school's off. I get to do nothing. I get to watch television, be on my phone 24 hours a day. That's awesome. Like school, like that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, cool. Like I get to do nothing all day.
Yeah.
It was a well-deserved break for everybody. At least kind of time to reflect and just kind of relax and say, since every day is like a busy time before the pandemic, and now like everyone like was like, what are we supposed to do with ourselves? Like now we're like people thought it was gonna last for like a couple of weeks. Now like 2 years now. And like so they'll be like, oh, we had 2 weeks off of school, we get to relax, just do whatever we want, like blah blah blah. And now 2 years later, like, okay, well, what do we have to do now? Like, what are we supposed to do now? Go back to work now or something? Like what are we supposed to do? And stuff. So the final question for the interview is, what's some advice to our younger generations that like become a singer-songwriter one day?
Honestly, just don't give up. I know everyone says that, but like you have to keep going, because when I was, 12, 13, 14 years old, I didn't think anyone would ever even want to listen to my music. I didn't plan on sharing it with anyone. I didn't think in a million years I would ever get to release anything. And now I'm here with, 2 albums, an EP out. I get to talk to people on podcasts. I'm getting my music played on radio stations. Like you have to keep going, because it will happen. Something will happen if you keep going.
Yeah, for sure. once you feel like once you're first starting out, like you really don't have any confidence in what you're doing. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
let's give this a shot. Like it's probably just gonna be like a 1-day thing. I just try it, do a little hobby. That's kind of why I died about doing podcasts. I was never confident in what I was doing. I had no idea. I thought this was gonna be the easiest thing ever. And like I was like, oh, it's gonna be fun. This is gonna be really easy for me to do. Like I can do nothing. I just get to be on Zoom calls all day, do nothing, and talk. And so now I'm like, okay, well, this is very difficult now. Like it's very difficult to basically handle all your scheduling, like try to balance school, work, like all of these things in your like in your life. But what was kind of the difficult part for you to kind of balance all these things, like songwriting, school, and like work and all those things to do?
I mean, it's kind of difficult sometimes, but I've also like, I'm a senior in high school now. I really don't have like a ton of schoolwork to do. I'm home early pretty much every day. I have a half day every week. A lot of my classes aren't like serious classes, or like they don't give a lot of homework, and they're mostly music classes. So all of my days are pretty much based around music now, which is nice. But like before, I feel like I had 1 day a week where I was able to just like really work on my music. Like I'd have like a Saturday, and then every other day would be I'm at work or I'm at school, and then you have like extracurricular activities, and yeah.
Very busy. Like you have to make some time to make extend your schedule. That's like the worst thing, is you don't want to over exaggerate yourself and stress yourself out. That's kind of something that I struggle with. Exactly. And something like I kind of have an easy schedule because I end at noon, and so it's a very easy schedule for me, since I end at 12, so I have the rest of the day to do what I needed to do and everything. So like when you are usually singer songwriting, like when you're writing, like do you have any like things that kind of impact your music? Do you have any like events that kind of trigger your music and what to write about?
I mean, everything I write is based on my life pretty much. I think I have a few songs that are like made up stories, but it's all just whatever's going on in my life, usually about love or heartbreak or things that are upsetting me, or like movies are pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Other music.
What movies you should bring you inspiration? Like, do you have any specific movies that bring you kind of inspiration?
None. Like I haven't written a song like about a specific movie, I guess, but like I guess any movies that have like love stories, like La La Land is my all-time favorite movie. Just like the music, I don't know, everything about it, the story, it's very inspiring for me.
Yeah, have you seen the new J-Lo movie, Married yet, or no?
No.
That's a good one. That's a good kind of love story to check out.
Yeah.
We have like all music and stuff. I totally recommend it, and everything. It's really good. But like, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. It was so good.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing. I'm so happy to have you on, and thanks so much for coming on. We'll definitely see you soon for sure.
Thank you.
Of course. Talk to you soon.